So welcome back to the Life After Corporate Business Launch Masterclass. This is the third training in our workshop, and whether you are thinking about leaving your corporate job and venturing out on your own, or if you have already taken this magnificent leap to start your own business and you would like to get more clients, this is the place to be. The place to get the step-by-step path to replacing your six-figure salary as a coach or consultant, and it's like launch school. So this training, if you're joining us for the first time, is there anyone here who is joining us for the first time? I think everyone has been here for other sessions, so I'm going to quickly go through this. So we're talking about building a business that grows and scales, looking for the direct path. I don't like magical thinking. I don't like mystery. I want to know what the direct path is to replacing the six-figure salary so that you can meet your business and lifestyle goals. And when you do an effective job of positioning your value proposition in your industry, you become known as the one who, just like I am the one who will get you to the right business model, the right pricing, and the right value proposition to create a successful business that grows. We will be talking tomorrow about how you can create your own standout value proposition. So you all know who I am already. If you haven't listened to the Life After Corporate podcast, I highly recommend it. I have not been as consistent as I would love to be, but would also love for you to join the Elevate Network chapter, especially our entrepreneurs program. And we have a session this evening or this afternoon right after this called the CEO Mindset. So we'll have to cut this off right at 4 p.m. today. And if we don't know each other, I mean, I am a truth teller, and truthfully, I'm so excited to see so many faces return for this session. I appreciate all of your comments in social media and in email. The response has been amazing. We have people who are participating in this training who aren't here right now, who are watching it in the Facebook group and on YouTube. So many of you have said that you've never seen the business launch process laid out like this before. And I get it. This is not what most business coaches teach because they don't have a background in business launches like I do. And if yesterday got you excited about seeing the possibilities, today should make you over the top excited to launch your business. As you know, this is interactive. There's no hype here, and you will leave this micro course with a proven path to follow based on my 25 years plus of launching successful services-based business. And if you missed the first, so for those of you watching the video, if you've missed the first two videos in the series, I highly recommend that you catch up when the session is over. The steps will make the most sense when you take them in order. They are required viewing for anyone who wants to launch a business quickly without a ton of trial and error and trying out strategies that end up not working and burning through your savings. So I want you to get the full value of this workshop so that you should really go watch the other videos in the series when we're done here. In those first two sessions, I taught you about how I created my business based on a business model that didn't require me to travel, how I was able to be with my son when he was in junior high school and be a class representative for his last 2 years in high school, which might not seem like a big deal to some of you, but as someone who traveled most of his growing up years in elementary school and who missed many soccer games and parent-teacher conferences, that was a huge deal for me to make that commitment. I also shared a few examples from my clients who were able to create business models that worked with their skills and their lifestyle. It fit into their lifestyle goals. They created amazing opportunities to grow their business while they raised their families or secured their retirement. So you really can work from anywhere and earn as much as you desire and make an impact with your work. Entrepreneurship is the new feminist movement. And as Diane von Furstenberg says, and my necklace says too, you are the woman in charge. So today we're going to dive deep into pricing. I'm first going to share with you the 5 pricing mistakes that most new coaches and consultants make. We'll talk about how to price your services for maximum value and maximum profit. and how to align behind your price and stand in your value. Pricing is hard because it forces you to put a value on your work. And so there are 5 different traps that most new coaches and consultants fall into. And we'll go through them one by one. And the first is matching the competition. So when you first start out, you might look around you and say, hey, what are the other coaches and consultants charging? And there's this mental filter that we go through that says, I don't want to be too high and I don't want to be too low. So the natural tendency is to price your services directly in the middle of what your nearest competitors are also charging. And there's a problem with that, right? So the problem is that if you're not standing out with the services that you offer, if you're not standing out with your messaging and you're not standing out with your pricing, then you start looking and sounding exactly like everyone else. So one of the things that I recommend my clients avoid doing is doing a big competitive market research when they first get started. Don't start looking at the competition. What you want to start looking at first is the market. What's missing? What's missing with people who could be my ideal clients? What am I passionate about? And we're going to talk more about that tomorrow. The second one, and this is one of my favorites, it's assuming what your clients can afford. So there's been more than once I've heard, I didn't want to price it too high because I know my clients in my marketplace and they won't be able to afford that. So first of all, get your head out of your customer's wallet. That's not where it belongs. And this is true whether you're selling to businesses or you're selling to individuals. What happens when you make a decision for someone, right? So if you make a decision for someone on whether or not they will be able to afford it, there's a couple of things that happens. One is you might not make an offer at all. Number 2, you actually, and this is the most important piece, if you decide not to make an offer, you actually rob them of the ability to invest in themselves. And just, if you're taking notes, this is a great part to take notes. What does it mean when someone invests in themselves at a high level? Whether you buy something expensive that's really at the upper end of anything that you've invested in before, or when you invest in a course or a program or a new certification. What does that say? And you can just type in chat. That would be a great way to communicate. What does that say about yourself? If you're investing in yourself, you're committed to your own growth. Absolutely. You're looking to improve. It also means I'm worth it. I value myself. And when you assume affordability on the part of your client, you're taking away their ability to value themselves at a high enough level than or at a high level, and maybe the highest level that they've ever valued themselves before. People who also invest in themselves have a high commitment to stick through and participate in it. And I remember when I was doing in my early career that I told you about in the first session, when I was a relationship coach and coaching women after divorce, I remember one time when I think my program was around $2,500 or $3,000 for that 12-week program. And I remember so many women coming out the other side of divorce who didn't have a lot of money. And so I took the individual coaching away from that program and made it like a do-it-yourself offer. And if I could tell you that at $600, there were so many more headaches in servicing those clients. Many of them didn't commit. They didn't commit. They didn't finalize the full program, finish the full program. So when you assume affordability, you rob people of the ability to invest in themselves, which is a way of expressing value and their own self-worth. The third pricing mistake is charging an hourly rate. So who knows why charging an hourly rate is not a good strategy, right? So time is your most precious commodity as a business owner. And whenever it requires your time to service one client, then first of all, you'll run out of time before you make enough money to replace your six-figure salary. But also when you're charging an hourly rate, look at this photo. This guy's watching the clock. So maybe your clients are also nickeling and diming your time. Like, well, how much time did you put into that? Or maybe they don't use your services to the full extent they should because they're conscious of the clock ticking and them racking up additional fees. So you actually do your clients a favor and you do yourself a favor, because when you charge based on an outcome or a package price, you're able to be generous with your clients. You can over deliver, not worry about, are they nickeling and diming your time, right? So if you have any questions, just post them in chat. And then when we open up the live room for those who are here live, we can address those. And the other fourth pricing mistake is that there's no leverage in your offer. So this kind of keys off of the one prior of charging by the hour and doing things one-on-one. When there's no leverage in your offers, you're looking at your time, you're having to invoice clients regularly. So leverage brings in, and there's many, many different ways that we can bring leverage into the business that I'll share with you in a minute. It allows you to serve many clients at once. So group programs, do-it-yourself courses, those are great examples of leveraged offers, and I'll share with you some more. And what many of you came to yesterday, and I think is a great strategy, is that you have a hybrid business model. You may be offering one-on-one services. And as we talked about, that's a premium offer, right? So that's the highest value that you have, is your individual time and attention. But there's also other ways that you bring leverage into your business. And the last, and this I think is the most important, and if it's the only thing that you remember today, I hope you take it away with you, is that you're undervaluing your services. And we talked a little bit about that when I opened up this conversation today, is that women in general, as part of society, because we weren't raised over generations to be the breadwinners of our family. We were raised culturally to take care of children and to make sure there were meals on the table and to be caregivers. And so when it comes time, and this is true in the workplace, whether you're asking for a raise or getting a job, we all know that women are paid less. And if you remember the statistic that I showed you a couple of days ago, is women are earning 30 cents to the dollar in business ownership. And so it's critical. It is critical that you look at the value, and I'll give you a framework for doing that coming up next, that you look at the value that you're offering your clients and you charge appropriately. And if you do nothing else as a result of these 3 days of training, is just double your prices. No one is going to know the difference. You're not going to have any, I guarantee there'll be very little pushback. And if you can't stand behind doubling your prices, then at least raise them by 50%. Because you underprice your services because you undervalue your impact. And I want you to just let that one sink in. So if you've got an insight or an aha from that, just type wow or aha or boom in chat. You underprice your services because you undervalue your impact. And when I started thinking about this, I realized that the reason for this is because you're not looking at the value of the outcome. You're trying to put a quantitative value on your time. People aren't buying your time. They're buying the outcome of the advantage that they get from their work with you. So I coined the term return on advantage as a way to think about your pricing. So as I mentioned, most of my clients have at least doubled their prices on their services. Some people who have just been to my pricing masterclass have doubled their prices and sent me a note on LinkedIn and saying, thank you very much. I just doubled my revenue. It's amazing. So I will almost guarantee that everyone in this room or listening to this video replay is undercharging their services. So in order to do that, you need to learn how to have the conversation about return on advantage. And your return on advantage is the long-term benefit your client receives after working with you. And this is true for any client, whether you sell to businesses or you sell to individuals. There is a measurable outcome of what you deliver. And when you bring that into the discussion, and you should be bringing this into the sales discussion before you even close on the client assignment, they will happily write you a check for the full amount of your service. So to think about how you would have the discussion around return on advantage, first think about one of your ideal clients or the ideal client as they appear to you. Maybe it's someone that you've already worked with. What is it that they need? And why are you the perfect coach or consultant for them? What is it costing them to stay where they are? What is the benefit that solving that problem gets them? And what is the immediate benefit? What is the longer term benefit? And what is the lifetime benefit? Now, in my mind, I'm going through filters here. I'm applying this to life coaches, to business coaches, to career coaches, to DEI consultants, to change management consultants, to any field. The success my clients have received when they've embraced this concept has been amazing. So if you remember the story about Molly, Molly is the change management consultant, 2.5 times her revenue by changing her pricing strategy and at the same time having the return on advantage conversation with her clients, which brings her 100% close rate because her sales conversation is so powerful and she gets no pushback on her pricing. I didn't tell you about Monica. So Monica is a secondary school teacher in New York City, and she has a side hustle of being a social media consultant or coach. And she's so far this year, and it's the beginning of June, she has surpassed her teacher's salary in what she's brought in her social media coaching and consulting business that she does after school and on weekends. So this is what's possible to you when you can have a return on advantage discussion. And I have a client, Nicole, who you might meet tomorrow. I'm not sure if she can join us tomorrow, but she's a career consultant and she's been an HR leader. So she has the inside view of when you're negotiating for a promotion or when you're applying for a job. She is getting her clients sign-on bonuses during the pandemic. She was getting her clients sign-on bonuses, promotions, and you know what it's like in the corporate world. When you get a promotion, it brings you up in a different grade level. Your bonus is a percentage of your base salary. And just the confidence that you get in having the posture to advocate for yourself in a financial way translates into greater success for your entire career. So what Nicole is actually giving her clients is something that's probably worth hundreds of thousands of dollars during the course of their career. And you can just back of the napkin this kind of stuff with your clients. So now that you know the pricing mistakes to avoid, how do you price your services for maximum value for yourself, for your clients? It's important that you create a pricing model that feels good and enables you to live the lifestyle, because no one wants to live in scarcity or trying to struggle for sufficiency. We want to live in a place where there's more than enough, for us, where we can give back to causes that we believe in and we can leave a legacy with our work. So it's important that you can create a pricing model, and we're going to workshop this together in the live room that enables you to live that life and design your time. So I mentioned leverage before. Leverage is being able to do something once and rinse and repeat it many, many times. Leverage can be a group experience, an online experience, such as an online course or an app. It can be a physical product that is aligned to your service-based business that's a separate revenue stream. So I know a woman who is a business coach, and she created what she calls the best planner ever. And she sells her planners for $35, $40 a piece. All of her clients buy her planners, but her planners have turned into $1 million revenue stream. And that's using print on demand. So it's not like she has a lot of inventory for these physical products. So with 3D printing and with printing on demand, you can add physical products to your business fairly easily. Mostly leverage means that you're not customizing anything for any individual client. And you get the most leverage when you don't have to have your hands in the delivery of your results at all. But that's not always feasible for every business model. So just think for a moment on where you can introduce leverage into your business. The second pricing strategy is to create repeatable frameworks. Frameworks are useful tools that enable you to create a strategy or a piece of content once and repeat it many times. And this applies to consulting frameworks, creating group courses, events, or experiences, as well as creating frameworks for your marketing. When you get really good at frameworks, you can even sell them. You can sell your framework, you can sell your methodology, you can write a book, you can develop a training program, you can even develop a certification model where people pay you to certify them in your methodology or your framework, and then you rinse and repeat that. So I think most of the time we're creating something once, and then we're letting it die, and then we're creating something new. And that's not good leveraged use of your time. So where you have repeatable frameworks, then you have a pricing strategy and a service delivery strategy that doesn't stress you out. So like I mentioned before, I have a multiple six-figure business, and I don't work that hard. I mean, I love my work, but I'm not working all the time. When I worked at Gartner, I was working and traveling and stressed out and burnt out much more than I am right now. Actually, I'm not stressed out or burnt out at all. And the last one is to price based on value. And so we talked a lot about the value equation. And I just want you to just think about, just imagine your ideal client, imagine the value that you deliver in your engagement with them. And what is that worth to them long-term? How does that change their life? How does that change their relationships? How does that change the trajectory of their career? How does that change their earning potential? How does that change their health? And how does that impact their lives? And for your consulting clients, if you get DEI right, then you become an employer of choice for people who are entering the workforce. So one of the common beliefs that people have is that if you price your services too high, your clients won't be able to afford to work with you. So can you price yourself out of the market? And it's true that some people won't have the budget and might not be able to work with you at that level. But when you're using repeatable frameworks, you can always take a slice of what you do and package it at a lower price. And when you're charging a premium for your services, you can also set aside a piece of your budget for scholarships or partial scholarships. So you can still be serving people who might not be in a place of fully affording your services, but you're charging enough and you're putting some money aside where you can then be generous and offer partial or full scholarships to your programs. Now, that doesn't apply to the corporate world. That's really in a B2C business model. So there are a few things I know to be true about pricing. Number one is that value is in the eyes of the buyer. Many people will find the money to invest in something that has value to them. They find the possibilities. You can always take those pieces of your program, as I mentioned, you can slice and dice and create a lower end or do-it-yourself offering. It's content that you already own. It's an easy offer as a standalone, and it doesn't take your time to deliver. And when you can confidently stand behind your value and offer a premium experience, you can take, as I mentioned, some of that bountiful revenue and give back. And lastly, you can always negotiate down and scale down based on the budget, but you can't negotiate up if you underprice your services. Making sense so far? Just give me a high sign in chat. What was the biggest takeaway on pricing so far for people in the room? I'd love to get a reading in chat. And if you've just joined us recently, welcome. I see there's a lot more people in the room than when we first got started. So what was your biggest takeaway on the pricing discussion? Because we're going to start playing with the pricing model and modeling out your business. Be brave, getting over our personal hurdles, the importance of leverage. Great. Awesome. Leverage. Okay, great. Awesome. All right. So all of you, as part of your workbook, have the pricing calculator, which is a pricing modeling tool. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen here, and I am going to share the pricing tool itself. And I would love a volunteer. So is anyone willing to volunteer? Just unmute or raise your hand if Kim can see you, and let me know, or type me. That's a good idea. Type me in chat if you're willing to volunteer. It's really fun. It really, really is fun. So especially if you already have a business, I think this would be great. So are you going to make me model out a fictitious model?
Well, if nobody goes, I can go.
All right, Kim. All right.
I'll do it with you. I've never done this with you.
All right. So what's your revenue goal, Kim?
150,000.
And what are you, well, yours is a little bit different, but you have
I'll pretend.
Okay, how many different, what's the average value of a client to you? So I'm a private client, right? I'm a continuous client.
Yep.
And during the course of a year, what is the average value of one of those clients to you?
I would say on average, probably 10,000 for the year, right?
Yeah. Do you have any lower end packages?
Yes. We have like a lead magnet package.
And what's the value of that?
That is, I think it's $797.
And do you have anything else?
We have the startup package for Keep.
And how much is that?
That is $1297.
Okay. And what percentage of your revenue do you want to come from your private retainer clients?
It's probably going to be 80% or 70. Yeah, 80 or 70, something like that.
And so you've got 20% left. Is it 10 and 10?
Yes.
Just for the sake of modeling this out here?
Yes.
All right. And what is your close ratio? Do you know how many conversations you need to have to get a client?
I would say my close rates, it could probably be 100%. I would say that it's
probably your close
80,
rate is so high.
80. We'll go with 80% just because I don't close everyone. Because of capacity.
I have to, like, there we go. Did I get to 80%? I can't. There we go. Okay. So Kim needs a total of 42 clients. So she, in order to hit her 150K revenue goal. Now, is that a revenue goal or an income goal?
That's income goal. That's
all right. So if you roll this up to the whole company, what would the revenue goal be?
Oh yeah, that's the revenue goal.
Okay,
the
that's
whole company.
The revenue goal. Okay. So 12 clients 12 private clients, 19 lead magnet packages, and 12 startup packages. So I want to just highlight for everyone, do you know what this does? This makes it super clear how many clients you need. So that means, if Kim wants a dozen startup package clients, that means on average once a month, she's selling a startup package. And that drives her marketing. So everything comes from your revenue model. Your marketing strategy aligns behind your revenue goal. And since she has such a high close ratio, she only has to get 53 prospects. I mean, I probably send you 20 people a year, Kim.
Yes.
So, but let's model out if you weren't so skilled or if your skills weren't in high demand. So when you first start out, your close ratio is going to be more like 20, 25%, 30% if you're really comfortable and good at sales. So in that scenario, you're still looking for 42 clients, but you want to get in front of 141 prospects. And that's important because you want to ask yourself, how am I reaching out to prospective customers? How am I engaging them in the conversation about how to do business together? So this is, most of my clients love this tool. It's something that you can play with, you can look at, especially if you have a hybrid business model and you have a DIY course or you have a group program experience versus your private clients. You can model out what you need to do to shift your revenue from less private one-on-one work to more rinse and repeat. So Kim has been at this for so long, and she has so many templates and tools and frameworks that she's created. She can rinse and repeat. So it's really efficient for her to work with a client. I'm selling you here, Kim.
Well, I have to just say, like, I've never done this tool, even though I've seen it 100 times. I've never done it, but it's like, holy cow, like, wow. I probably don't have to work as hard as I do now to actually, I could probably up and change some things around and be like, wow, like I could really do this and even make more. And stuff like, that just like seeing this, because I've actually never gone in and like played with this tool, even though I have access to it, and put those numbers in and actually thought about the different types of products that I have. And I probably have more than that I could even throw in and look at different things. So it's really cool to see that.
Yeah. And if you have an 80% close rate, you can be earning $300,000 with just over 100 prospects and 85 clients. And if you look at that rolling out, especially since you have people working for you on the lead magnet and the startup package, I know you do a lot of the private client work, but if you could have 24 private clients, I don't know if that's too much, or maybe shift more of your revenue to the other staff. So these are the kinds of questions you want to be asking yourself as you're using this tool. How could I work less and make more? So I think that was a perfect way to go about it. So was that useful for everyone else to be able to see that in action? It's cool, right? Yeah. All right. So let's go back and wrap up the presentation, then we'll get back to the live room. So that is the, I'm sharing the wrong thing. Great. So that's the pricing modeling tool. So let's wrap this up. Imagine, how do you want your life to be? So this is right where we started this conversation a couple of days ago, is imagine what you want your life to be. How do you want to be spending your time? How do you want to be making your money? And can you feel it? Because it's been awesome for me to be on this side and sharing this information with you and seeing the excitement in your faces. Are you able to feel what it's like to be able to do this every day? So that's why I put together this workshop. It's been fun and rewarding creating this training for you. And I've been getting great comments, and I love the interaction and the community that this has created. And I know that the replays of these videos have already made a big impact on several people who have been commenting, and maybe it's even helped you. So now you may be wondering, what does it take to put all of these pieces together for your business idea so that you can replace your salary plus some and be able to impact the people you care most about? And while we have spent the past couple of days building out a foundation on which to build your business with a business model and pricing strategy, there's still so much more to do in building out a standout value proposition to your market and stand out as that market of one. And when that happens, you create a reputation, you create a following, you become known for something, just like I am known for my mission about closing the wage gap with women entrepreneurs. So as I mentioned, this has been a taste of the Launch Lab. Right now, I will just pull back the curtain a little bit and reveal to you the actual steps that I take. And part of what we're going to do tomorrow is harking back to module 1 in the Launch Lab, which is creating a standout value proposition in your messaging. Has a lot to do with your mission and purpose and your why. And so we'll connect those dots. But we want to define a money-making model. And today we've modeled that out with the pricing calculator. And now we want to be able to put the pieces together so that you can build out your business, build out your marketing assets, and start attracting clients to work with you. So if you already know that you want to take this great content even further and apply this to your business, I want you to think about this special offer that I'm pulling together just for this group. And I'm packaging the Launch Lab with my popular Standout Webinars course. So this is the complete package. So the Launch Lab is where you get proof from your market that you've hit the bullseye with your program and your messaging. It gives you the validation and the confidence that you don't get anywhere else, eliminates the guesswork from your marketing. And instead of wondering what messages will land with your audience, you'll know what to say to capture the attention of your ideal clients. And once that happens, you are on a path for rapid growth, my friend. But first, we need to put together your go-to-market strategy, your plan for who you're targeting with your offers, your messaging, and your marketing assets. So that's where having a powerful webinar that converts becomes an asset to your business, so that it's only natural we should pair these two programs together. And in fact, we just had the Standout Webinars program earlier this afternoon. And I'll be opening up the Launch Lab again soon. We'll enroll a new cohort, and then we'll have to close registration and kick off that program. And I'll have more details about that for you tomorrow on how you can get started, and the bonus training with that high-level plan for your go-to-market strategy. And I will only be teaching the go-to-market strategy in the live room, not on the recording. So be sure you're here in person in order to get that. Plus, we'll have a couple of past Launch Lab grads who are going to give us an update on where they are. They might have only graduated a few months ago. But the benefit of joining now is the Standout Webinars program on its own is a $2,000 offering, or $1,997. And I'm packaging that in with the Launch Lab. And so we've never done that before. And sorry for clients who are on the line who paid for both. But that's our special offer for this next cohort. So now it's your turn. I'd love to hear from you. We're going to be opening up the live room. If you're watching this on replay, put a hashtag replay and share with us, what action will you take as a result of this training? What questions are still remaining for you? And where do you want to go from here?